Hi everybody and welcome to Dales. My name is Dale and I'm coming to you from Western Manitoba, Canada. Well, it is Saturday the 15th of February. We are in an extremely deep freeze here. All this week and half of last week, it has not gone above probably minus 25 Celsius during the day. At night, it's been in the low minus 30s. Last night, I think, was a little bit warmer, but tonight, I think we're supposed to have a temperature of minus 37 with a wind chill of minus 51. So yeah, we're really stuck in this really severely cold temperatures. Gary and I have been just staying in. We actually went out on Tuesday. I had a doctor's appointment, and so we did a little bit of shopping, and we couldn't wait to get home. It was so cold. So it hasn't been a very nice week. The sun has been out. It's been very bright, and the days are getting longer, so I guess that's a good thing. But the cold has just made us hunker down inside the house. And all I have done this week, and I mean all I have done, is stitch. I have been working on my comfort cloth, which I have to say, at this time of the year and at this season of lunacy around the world, that the comfort cloth has been such a wonderful project to be working on, because I've been focusing on why I'm doing that cloth. Now, if you're new to me, you probably wouldn't have seen the project that I did in 2023. I did a daily stitch journal on sort of what looked like a calendar, and I did 12 months and I stitched every day, and it was something that I enjoyed so much and I looked forward to it every day. I really did. And when I finished that project and had it hanging on the wall, I really missed that daily stitching and that daily shutting everything off and just sitting there with my needle and thread and just stitching away. That was such a freeing thing to do for me. So I'm really happy to have started this comfort cloth. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain that a little bit too. It's K3N, who is a fantastic stitcher. She lives in the UK. She started this comfort cloth, which is a daily, well, it's not a daily, it's a monthly, it's going to go on for the whole year. Let's put it that way. So for the month of January, she gave us parameters to make a square, however we wanted to make it, but it had to be about us, the person who was stitching it. It had to be you, me, had to be me. And so she had some general guidelines that you could follow, but you didn't have to follow her. You could do whatever you wanted. And of course, me, being me, I do what I want. It's the same thing with other people that I followed on a yearly thing like this. I've used little bits and pieces of what they've suggested, but I have not done anything what they want. Anyway, so I'm still stitching on my January block. However, I have put together my February block. I haven't even started stitching on that. So obviously I'm going to be behind. But this is a project that's supposed to give you some comfort and some joy. So I'm not worrying about that. I'm just working at it at my own speed, and if I get behind, I get behind. There's a lot of stitching in my piece because that's what brings me joy. Maybe I wouldn't have to stitch as much, but I want to stitch it. So that I'll now show you both pieces. Apparently at the end of this month, we will be attaching them, which I don't know that I will attach mine until I have my stitching part done, because I don't want to have such a big piece to have to hold and stitch on. So anyway, I will show you that. So that is what I've been doing. And I've been also working on my wall hanging, my wonky log cabin wall hanging, and I am stitching it. I'm not putting any together any more log cabins until I have all the ones that I've already done stitched. And that's taking some time. And I just do that in the evening, you know, when watching TV or something, I just stitch on them. So again, it's a slow process. It's not something that's going to get done by the end of March. Although I would love to have it on my wall by the end of March, but it's not going to happen. And I've been stitching or making a sock. And again, just poking along. It's just that kind of thing. I haven't felt like pushing myself. I haven't felt like, I just want to sit and stitch. So that's what I've been doing. And of course, you know, I have that luxury. I'm retired. I can do what I want to do because I worked hard and long to get to this point in my life, and I'm taking advantage of the quiet and the seclusion in the house. I live in a very quiet house, which is great. And actually, even when we lived in the city and I was working full time and we had our son with us, it was still a quiet house. We've always had a quiet house. And I think that is sort of reflects how we are. We're quite laid back. We just don't like a lot of commotions. So I'm going to show you my two pieces, for my piece for January, my piece for February. And I will go and grab the sock so I can show you the sock that I'm working on too. So this is the sock that I'm working on. This is for me. Finally, a pair for me. I don't like a really long, the lighting isn't very good, is it? I don't like a really long leg to my sock. So I'm just finished the heel flap. Now I'm going to do the heel turn and pick up stitches and start the foot. This is Winter Harvest from Lichen and Lace. It's beautiful. This is not, I'm not this color. This is quite surprising for me because I would never choose a color like this if I was out shopping for yarn. Mauve would never come into my radar. But this is really pretty. I really like it. I love the combination of the mauve and the, whatever it is it gold? Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's almost like a mossy green, but it's beautiful. I really like it. And I really like the fabric that it's making. It's really, really nice. So I'm doing a 3x1 rib for the leg and for the gusset. No, the instep and the foot, the top of the foot. So that's how it's going to be. So yeah, I'm just poking along at this. I haven't done any more on the ones that I'm doing for Gary either. But I always have more than one pair of socks on the go. That's just how I work. I did finish the red socks, and they're gone, and they've been received by the person who I made it for, which is my sister-in-law, and I'll show you a picture of those right here. The other thing I wanted to mention is that some of you requested that I show you how to make the basket that I made, the crocheted basket, and I am going to do that. I'm going to do a tutorial. I just haven't gotten past the stitching this week, and I've been thinking about it, and I know what I want to do, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. But I will. It's on the top of my list when I quit stitching so much. So we are supposed to warm up a bit next week, hopefully, maybe even to the plus side at the end of the week. We still got a whole week to go in this horrible frozen world that we live in. But next week we are going to go shopping for some supplies to start working on the kitchen. So I've sort of picked out, I don't know, I might have picked out what I want to do color-wise. I'm staying with the green, but it's going to be a much toned down green. It's more of a soft mossy green. I'm not doing it on all the walls like I have now. I'm just going to do this wall here in the green color, and then I have plans to do something else on the other walls. So hopefully I can get everything I need so that I can start working on that. And if it warms up a bit, I can have windows open, because I get really bad headaches from paint. Even though the new types of paint don't even have much of an odor, it still gets to me. So one of the things, though, I have to say, when I went to see my doctor, I know you've noticed when I'm talking, I do this and there's always, a noise. And I have had rhinitis pretty much all my life. And over the years, I've tried just about everything, and it works for a while and then it doesn't work. So I brought it up again to my doctor, and she gave me something new to try. And I have to say, I can actually breathe through both nostrils right now. I've been sleeping so much better. I'm not waking up choking. It's been really good. And the reason that I've had rhinitis all my life is because when I was about 6 or 7 years old, my brother broke my nose. Not intentionally. My brother's this particular brother's 9 years older than me, and he and his friends, and it might even been my other brothers with him, I don't know, I can't remember, they were playing croquet on the front lawn, and I guess I was sort of standing behind him, and he, instead of playing croquet like you should, wound up with the mallet, to hit this ball, and he hit me right here. And as funny as it is, I remember this. I remember my dad rushing out of the house and picking me up. I remember screaming. I don't remember the pain, but I remember this. And so I didn't know that my nose had been broken. Nobody knew that my nose had been broken, but apparently my brother told me it just bled and bled. And maybe about 15 years ago, the doctor I was seeing, I was having a horrible sinus attack. No matter what I took, it didn't work. And so he sent me for a CT. And when I went back for my results, he started to laugh at me, and he says, "Who broke your nose?" And I said, "Nobody broke my nose." He says, "Oh yeah." He says, "You have a deviated septum. Your nose has been broken." And he says, "There's no wonder you can't breathe through your nose." He said, "It's quite off." So from that day on, I kind of lorded that over my brother for a while, but I let it go. So yeah, that's caused my problems. And so far, this has been really good, this stuff that she gave me. So I'm hoping that it continues, because I can go, and you can't hear it now. It's so nice. Okay, let's go have a look at my stitching that I'm doing. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to clean up the area, because I'm stitching down here on the dining room table in the sun, which is very nice. And I've kind of trashed my dining room. I'm not upstairs right now because we are not heating that area too much. The windows up there are not great, nor is the insulation up there. So when it gets so severely cold, we do heat it, but it's not enough for me to be sitting up there. I'd be really kind of miserable. So I'm down here in the sun, which is really nice. So I'm going to go quickly and clean things so they don't look quite as bad, and then I'm going to show you what I'm working on. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is, I think I showed you this not too long ago, this sweater here. I'm going to make this for Gary. I've showed it to him and he really likes it. The only thing is about this is that I've looked it up, and this is from 1989, and the called for yarn is Pattern Superwool. I have no idea the weight of Pattern Superwool. I have looked around, it's not available anywhere. So I contacted Briggs & Little, which is a woolen mill in the East Coast, and they do sell some Patton's wool. So I sent them a message and I asked them if they could sort of find out, or if they would know what the weight of Pattern Superwool is. I think it's probably a DK, maybe Sport, just because of the size of the needles. But if they could sort of guide me here, so I will buy my yarn from there as well if they can help me. So I haven't heard back from them, but I'm confident that they will. So that's going to be a project coming up. And I might even make one for Jonathan, because he would wear this, I'm sure. I will show him first to make sure, you know, if he wants something else, maybe a cardigan instead of that. But I'm pretty sure he would wear something like this, because he likes to be warm. So that's on the horizon. But until I hear back from them, I'm not going to be ordering any yarn. Yeah, so let's go look at my stitching projects. So this is my January piece that I'm still stitching on. This was supposed to be me. What makes me me? And so I started with this woven, fabric woven square. And I think I might have even said a few things about this to you already. I decided that I used some fabrics that were from my mom, from my great-grandma, from my aunt, and I decided that I would put their names around this. But then I thought, I am a product of a very loving family, and all of their love is woven into me. And in particular, the skills that I have now came from a lot of different women and a lot of different ways of those women nurturing me. So I decided to not only put the names of the people whose fabric was in here, but to select most of the women who had a big impact on my life growing up. And so I'll run you through. So this is Erna, that's my mom. And this is Olga, I got to put the G, that's Gary's mom, my mother-in-law. And over here is Margaret. That's my Aunt Margaret, who I talk so much about. And here is Effie. That's my great-grandmother. So Effie, Margaret, and Erna, most of these fabrics in here, like all of these on the outside, were all from my great-grandmother, and I tea-dyed them. And this piece here was a piece of my mom's fabric. This was my mom's fabric. This was my mom's fabric. This was my aunt's. This was my aunt's. You know, so this is what I'm doing. I still have a lot of stitching this way to go. I've done all the downs, but I got to go across still. Okay, so we have Erna and my mother-in-law, Olga, Margaret, and Effie. Where did she go? Here she is. And then I also had Iris, who was my neighbor growing up, and she was like a mother to me. And then I had Olga R, that was my Aunt Olga. And up here I have Annie, who was an aunt of mine. Oops, I see some thread hanging here. And then I was only eight or nine when my two oldest brothers got married. And so my two sister-in-laws from my two oldest brothers were the only sisters that I knew, because I didn't have sisters, I just had brothers. But they were they were role models for me growing up. So I have Gail here and Beverly here. They're my sister-in-laws. So all of these women that I have put their names have wove me together, along with some others as well. And I love flowers, so I've added some flowers. There's roses in here. I'm just stitching music here. Now I wanted to put my piano teacher's name down here, but I don't know what her first name was. And since as I had just first names on here, I decided to, instead of putting her name, I would dedicate this whole corner to the music. And so I'm putting things like treble clef, bass clef, notes and stuff. I'm going to just, and this will be my dedication to Miss Mullo. So yeah, I got a lot of stitching to do. I have to do stuff here, here. I don't know, you know, like there's still an awful lot of stitching to do on this. So this is my January block. Now for February, we were supposed to do home, and it was suggested that we perhaps use the log cabin block. Well, I'm deep into log cabin blocks because I'm making my log cabin, my wonky log cabin wall hanging. So at first I didn't think that I was going to do log cabin blocks. But then I remembered, I'm just going to pull this aside. Then I remembered that a few years ago I had made this little piece. Let the clock do its thing. Okay, so I had done this little piece a long time ago, and I thought, well, you know, this is very much me. A chair with a nice comfy pillow and knitting basket with some woolen needles, and, you know, this is so me. So I put this in the middle, and then I decided that this would be my home. So I made, this is supposed to be like, you know, the rafters, and here's the night sky. And I did do 4 small log cabin blocks for some walls. And yeah, so this is going to be my home. None of this is stuck down yet. I have to baste it all down, and then I'll have to start stitching on it. So this is going to be attached to the top of January. This is February. It'll be attached to the top of my other blocks. So I'm just going to set the phone down for a minute and put them together so you can sort of see what they're going to be like. So this is where it's going to be attached on the top. I have a little bit of more to do here to bring this to here, but I'm not worried about that. When it comes to attach them, I will attach them as they are because I can still put things here. So this is sort of how it's going to go. And so far, this will be January and February. But I have a lot of work to do. I have to put all of this down. I have to stitch it. I have to top stitch all of this still. I've only just started. Well, no, I've done quite a bit. You know, you can see I have done quite a bit of stitching, but there's more to do. So that's what I've been spending most of my week doing, is working on this comfort cloth. When this is finished, there will be 12 months on here, and it'll be a coverlet, a blanket for me to do with whatever I want to do with it. If I want to turn it into a wall hanging, which I don't think I will, I think I will turn it into a blanket just to have for me, because it will be all about me. And so in March, K3N will give us another prompt. She will tell us where the next block goes. She will tell us the size and sort of what it should be about. And then we can do our thing. So I love this because it allows me to do what I want to do. And I don't know what's coming up next month, which is fun. It's really, really fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would like to kind of get caught up because, you know, once gardening season comes, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with this. So if I can get, you know, these few months before gardening season really starts, if I can get caught up with them and not get too far behind, I think it might be doable. So yeah. And there's my setup. I've got stuff all over the place. Actually, I cleaned it up a bit. But I also have 2 pails. I have some stuff over here as well. A couple pails of, one has got dark and one's got light, and then just odds and ends. So yeah, this is me sitting in this bright sun here, working away. And it can be as cold as it wants to be out there because I'm in here. So thank you for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye for now.